Forget everything you think you know about vampires. In the deep mountains of the Balkans, there's a reason why the elders don't fear Dracula. They fear what Dracula is hiding from. Behind the Hollywood capes and cinematic myths lies a dark reality of entities so ancient and so broken that even the king of vampires wouldn't dare to cross their path. We are talking about sorcerers who ride lightning-spitting dragons, souls that drain your life through your very breath without leaving a single mark, and beautiful dancers who will leave you paralyzed for life if you dare to watch them. Today, we aren't just telling stories. We are opening a forbidden chapter of folklore that has been whispered in the Carpathian shadows for 1,000 years. Here are 7 mythical creatures from the Balkans that prove the night has much worse things to show you than a simple vampire. But beware, once you know their names, you can never unhear them. Let's start with the one that defined the word undead long before the first book was ever written. Number 1, the Strigoi. To understand the true terror of the Balkans, you must first understand the Strigoi. Do not mistake them for the vampires you see in movies. A Strigoi is not a refined predator in a cape. It is something fundamentally wrong, a glitch in the natural order of life and death. According to ancient tradition, a Strigoi is a soul that, for one reason or another, refuses to leave this world. Perhaps they died with a heavy secret. Perhaps they were cursed at birth, or perhaps their hatred for the living was so strong that it anchored them to their decaying flesh. When a person suspected of being a Strigoi is buried, the nightmare begins. At night, the spirit leaves the grave. It does not always need its physical body. Sometimes it travels as a shadow, a whisper in the wind, or a distorted animal. They return to their former homes, not out of love, but out of a parasitic hunger. They drain the life force from their own family members first. Victims of a Strigoi don't wake up with bite marks on their necks. Instead, they wake up tired. Then, they grow weak. Within weeks, they wither away as if their very soul is being siphoned out through their breath. The rituals to stop them are gruesome and precise. In the old days, villagers would lead a pitch-black stallion through the cemetery. If the horse refused to jump over a specific grave, they knew they had found the nest. They would exhume the body, and if it was found to be fresh, with blood on its lips and skin that looked alive, the heart had to be removed and burned, or a stake of wild rosewood had to be driven through the chest. It was a brutal necessity, a war against a creature that refused to stay dead. But as terrifying as a soul refusing to die is, it's still bound to the earth. What if the threat came from the sky itself, controlled by a human who sold his soul to a secret underground school? That brings us to number 2, the Solomonar. These are the dragon riders, the sorcerers of the storm. A Solomonar is not born, he is chosen. Legend says that only a few boys are taken at birth by older Solomonari and brought to the Scholomance, a secret, underground school located in the heart of the mountains, hidden from human eyes. There, they spend 7 years in total darkness, learning the languages of animals, the secrets of nature, and the forbidden spells that control the weather. When they emerge, they are no longer entirely human. They travel through the world dressed in ragged white robes, looking like beggars. They carry a wooden staff, a book of spells, and a set of golden reins. These reins are not for a horse. They are for the Zmu, the giant, scaly dragons that live in the high mountain lakes. When a Solomonar is offended by a village, he climbs to the highest peak, whistles for his dragon, and rides it into the clouds. From the back of the beast, he commands the hailstorms and the lightning, wiping out entire harvests in minutes as a display of his power. They are the guardians of the weather, and even today, in remote villages, people speak in whispers when the clouds turn dark, wondering if a Solomonar has been disrespected. Imagine the power to wipe out a village with a single whistle. Yet, even the Solomonari respected the borders of the deep woods. Because in the heart of the forest, someone, or something, is always watching. Someone the locals call the Mother. Number 3, Muma Pădurii. Deep in the dense, ancient forest where the canopy is so thick the sun never touches the ground, lives the Mother of the forest. She is one of the most complex figures in Balkan lore. She is not a simple witch. She is a force of nature itself, as old as the trees and as unpredictable as a wildfire. Her appearance is the stuff of nightmares, a tall, hunched woman made of twisted bark and vines, with hair that looks like gray moss and eyes that glow with a pale, cold light. She is the protector of the woods. She heals wounded animals and guards the sacred groves. But her kindness ends there. To humans, she is a terrifying presence. She is known to kidnap children who wander too far into the trees, replacing them with her own offspring, beings that look human but never speak and eventually fade away. If you are lost in the forest at night and you hear a woman's voice crying for help or a mother calling your name, the elders tell you to run the other way. It is Muma Pădurii, mimicking the voices of those you love to lure you into the deep thickets where you will never be found again. She represents the primal fear of the unknown, the realization that nature does not care for the laws of men. If you survive the forest, you might think you're safe. But what happens when the man who died in your village returns, not as a spirit, but as a beast that combines the worst of both worlds? Number 4. The Pricolici. In the hierarchy of Balkan monsters, the Pricolici occupies a unique and terrifying space. While the world knows the werewolf and the vampire as two separate entities, the Pricolici is a nightmarish hybrid of both. This is not a man who changes under the full moon because of a bite. A Pricolici is a man who was born with a curse, often indicated by being born with a caul or a small tail. In life, these individuals were often violent and cruel, and that darkness follows them into the afterlife. When a Pricolici dies, they do not become a ghost. They return in the form of a massive, distorted wolf with a human-like intelligence. They are larger than any natural predator, with skin that looks like stretched leather and eyes that burn with a conscious, hateful fire. Unlike regular wolves that hunt for food, the Pricolici hunts for revenge. They remember those who wronged them in life and track them down with supernatural patience. They can jump over high fences, break through heavy doors, and vanish into air when pursued. They are the embodiment of the idea that some evils are too strong for death to contain. The Pricolici is a nightmare of teeth and fur. But sometimes, the most dangerous things don't look like monsters at all. Sometimes, they look like the most beautiful women you've ever seen. Number 5. The eel. Beauty can be just as deadly as a monster's claws, and the eel are the perfect proof. Often described as the Wicked Fairies, the eel are a group of ethereal, beautiful women who appear at night in remote meadows or deep forest clearings. They dress in translucent white robes and wear bells on their ankles, dancing in perfect, hypnotic circles known as the aura. But do not be fooled by their grace. The eel are not guardians or helpers. They are jealous and vengeful spirits. Their dance is a trap. If a man happens to witness their secret ritual, his fate is sealed. They will not kill him instantly. Instead, they will lure him into their circle, making him dance until his heart gives out, or they will strike him with a supernatural curse. Those who have looked upon the eel often wake up the next morning paralyzed, unable to speak, or with their limbs twisted in impossible ways. They are left as prisoners in their own bodies, a permanent reminder of the price of curiosity. Paralysis is a slow death. But there is one entity that doesn't want your dance. She wants your future. She is the reason why ancient mothers slept with iron under their pillows. Number 6. Samca. Perhaps the most feared demon in all of Balkan folklore is Samca. She is a creature of pure, concentrated dread, specifically targeting the most vulnerable. Samca is described as a woman of terrifying ugliness. Long, thin fingers ending in iron nails, hair that reaches her feet, and a voice that sounds like the grinding of stones. According to legend, she has 19 different names, and she uses them to slip past the defenses of homes where mothers and newborns sleep. Samca is the personification of the tragedies that strike the nursery. In the centuries before modern medicine, her name was whispered in terror by midwives and families. It was believed that she would enter a room invisibly and touch the mother or the child with her cold, iron nails, causing sudden illness or even death. To protect against her, people would resort to powerful charms, painting specific signs on the walls with garlic or wearing amulets blessed by the village elders. Samca haunts the cradle, but our final creature haunts the very edge of the map. A monster so strange, it has eyes where no human should ever have them. Number 7. The Căpcăun. We come to the Căpcăun, the dog-headed ogre that haunts the borders of civilization. In the old stories, the Căpcăun is a massive, man-eating giant that lives in caves or deep underground tunnels. But he is not just a brainless beast. He is described as having two faces, one on the front and one on the back of his head, meaning you can never sneak up on him, and he is always watching, even when he seems to be walking away. The Căpcăun is a scavenger of humanity. He kidnaps travelers, steals livestock, and is said to possess a dark, twisted sense of humor. In many epic legends, the hero must use his wits rather than his sword to defeat a Căpcăun, because their strength is far beyond that of any mortal man. They are the monsters of the frontier, the reminder that beyond the safety of the village walls, the world belongs to beings that view humans as nothing more than prey. These 7 creatures are more than just myths. They are a window into a culture that has survived through centuries of hardship by respecting the shadows. Balkan folklore doesn't offer easy answers or happy endings. It tells us that the world is vast, mysterious, and often dangerous. These legends have refused to die because, in the dark of the night, when the wind howls through the mountain peaks, it's easy to believe that something is out there, watching and waiting. Which of these entities would you be most afraid to meet if you were lost in the mountains? Would it be the hypnotic dance of the eel or the cold touch of the Strigoi? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the dark side of mythology, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon.